Emmanuel Macron has made Africa a key part of his foreign policy agenda, and this two-day visit to South Africa and Rwanda is very much a continuation of those efforts. It's about forging new alliances. In the case of Rwanda, about repairing deeply damaged relations and also strengthening ties. South Africa is seen as a key strategic ally in the region, particularly in terms of trade. South Africa is France's largest trading partner on the African continent. It plays a key role in terms of investment. It's also a key ally when it comes to security, particularly in light of the insurgency in Mozambique, for which Macron has been asked for French support. But critically, it's seen as taking up a leadership role in Africa's collective acquisition of COVID-19 vaccines, and that is something that French President Emmanuel Macron has thrown his weight behind. There will be talk about the ACT Accelerator programme when these two leaders meet, whether or how to boost funding to help Africa boost its innovation and manufacturing capacity for vaccine supply, as well as, of course, the IP waiver, the intellectual property waiver. This is something that Macron had tentatively expressed his support for, but he does seem to have backed down from that position somewhat, suggesting that it wouldn't necessarily be a quick fix for issues of vaccine supply in low and middle income countries. So there could be some potentially difficult discussions about that. But certainly South Africa will have an ally in Emmanuel Macron in attempts to boost the manufacturing capacity of African nations. So there will be a symbolic meeting taking place in Pretoria. And certainly this is about strengthening ties with a country that is seen as a key strategic ally on the African continent. Lucy Hoff, SABC News, Brussels.
For more, we cross to SABC News foreign editor Sophie Mokoena. Sophie, thank you so much for your time. Perhaps you can let us in on the expectations for today's meeting.
Well, indeed, this is quite an important visit. President Macron visited South Africa for the first time. He indicated in 2019 that he wanted to come to South Africa, but due to COVID-19, he couldn't touch down or visit South Africa. But fortunately, we have here with us Minister of International Relations, Dr. Naledi Pandor, who will speak to us about the significance of this visit. But also, you know that yesterday in Maputo, the Cabo Delgado matter was on the table of the Troika, the SADC Troika. Good afternoon, Minister. Minister, let's start with France. This visit, how important is this visit?
Well, good afternoon, Sophie, and good afternoon to SABC viewers. It's a very significant visit. It's President Macron's first to South Africa, which I think is very good for South Africa because we have a lot of French interest in our country. French companies are investors in South Africa. We would like to attract even more investment. And of course, one of the issues we do stress with the French is the importance of support to the region of Cabo Delgado through French company Total and others that were located there and already conducting business but have exited due to the current incursions. So we are engaging with them to persuade that once matters settle, such companies should return because they are absolutely significant to the economy of Mozambique. But for our own purposes, the visit is important in strengthening our bilateral relations and also ensuring that we do give attention to expanding a number of programs that we have with the French government. We have a number of skills training programs. We're doing well in the space of science and innovation. And President Macron in particular has taken a strong interest in South Africa's objective of developing vaccine production in South Africa and other countries on the African continent.
Minister, yesterday the Troika, the SADC Troika organ on politics and defense, South Africa, the incoming chair of the Troika, you were in Maputo, Mozambique. You had the discussions around the instability and the problem of the insurgents in the region of Cabo Delgado. The outcomes of the meeting, Minister?
Well, we as ministers presented the decisions of the ministers' committee of the organ where we had recommended particular actions following an assessment by a technical task team made up of intelligence and defense chiefs. We have recommended particular actions which have been supported by the Organ Troika Summit. And these will go to the summit, which is being brought forward of the entire SADC, so that the proposals we've made can be placed before the summit and finally acceded to and endorsed as the way forward.
Thank you for your time, Minister. I can see ministers are waiting already as the host. Thank you for your time. That was the Minister of International Relations, Dr. Naledi Pandor, talking to us about the importance of this visit. Clearly, the issue of security is also going to feature high on the agenda. The issue of the Cabo Delgado, the insurgents there, you know, South Africa has interest in terms of people who are working there, and therefore Total, a French company, stopped production or work there after those attacks. And perhaps today President Ramaphosa and President Macron will talk about extensively. But I think for me what is critical is the COVID-19 pandemic, and the reports that this afternoon at the Pretoria University, the two leaders will engage scientists and stakeholders, as I indicated earlier on, Dr. John Kenkasong, the director of the Africa CDC Center, and other scientists, but also the CEOs of companies. For example, Aspen, you know that it's a pharmaceutical company that is based in Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape, currently manufacturing Johnson & Johnson vaccines. And also, you know, we also have our own pharmaceutical companies, partnership with private sector, BioVac, and it's based in Johannesburg and also in the Western Cape, and the CEO will also be there. And I think the discussions there will revolve around manufacturing of vaccines, drugs and therapeutics for COVID-19. We expect the World Bank representative who is in the country to make an announcement in terms of rands and cents, or should I say dollars or euros, and also the European Union. I'm told that the Minister of Health of Germany will also participate. So I think the afternoon session is very, very important at a critical time where the world is battling with COVID-19 and there's a scramble for vaccines. The developing nations buying vaccines, but the poorer nations struggling. You know, all those developed countries having vaccines. It was only this morning or yesterday where the United States of America announced that they have vaccinated 50% of the population. When we look at the continent, we are way, 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 way behind. Yes, COVID-19 there exposing the inequality in the world. And if you say you are going to rebuild better the economy or the global economy, how do you do it when there's such disparities? Over to you in studio, Johannesburg.